Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the Toronto Raptors 122-105 win against the Brooklyn Nets. Riker, last night, the Toronto Raptors came out and got a big W against the Brooklyn Nets. I know they've been pretty good as of late. They haven't struggled too much despite their not super talented roster. They've won 4 of their last 5 coming into this game, but the Toronto Raptors look dominant against the Nets.
Absolutely. It's a game they needed to win. They wanted to continue the winning streak, and also they were bested by the Brooklyn Nets and D'Angelo Russell last time that they played them in overtime. So it's a good victory. As always, now we'll start the podcast with the comment of the day, eh? And you have it this time, coming from some Insta DMs. So hit us with that.
Some Insta DMs. Lie the tree. It's spelt weirdly. But he came out and he said, want to know why Kawhi Leonard is a mushroom? I said, haha, why? And he responded, because he's a fun guy.
That's horrible. That's
a quality meme. That's a comment of the day right there.
I don't know. I'm laughing, so it achieved its purpose, I guess. And the other one, another comment of the day, it's up on the board there. So you should make a podcast with one of your listeners one day. Pick one of them random... blah, blah, blah. We actually are doing that. We're starting a new piece. We're doing a weekly recap. In that, we're going to be answering questions. So we'll give you more information when the time comes. But basically, we'll get you guys to fire off in the comments, in the Insta DMs, Twitter, everything. You can send us audio recordings, and we're just going to have, 5, however many minutes, and we'll be answering questions or responding to your hot takes. So, like I said, we'll explain more when the time comes. But let's get into this game. The Toronto Raptors defeating the Brooklyn Nets, extending the winning streak to 4, and an all-around performance from everybody tonight, including the guys we want to see a double-digit game from, OG and Norman Powell.
Yeah, for sure. No one played over 27 minutes. Everyone came out, did their job. Especially, the Brooklyn Nets had their way a little bit in the first quarter, but beyond that, the Toronto Raptors really came out and handled this game. And you mentioned it. We talk about Lowry and Leonard every night, Siakam, but OG Anunoby and Norman Powell played phenomenal games tonight. They came out here, OG first, played lockdown defense, knocked down a couple threes, had 13 points, 3 rebounds and assists, and really, this is what we want to see out of OG Anunoby. We don't necessarily need a 20, 25 point per game night, but if our bench can come in, if OG and Norm can come in and be effective, be scoring threats, Norm didn't hit any threes, but OG knocking down the 3-point shot, 5 for 6 from the field, that's what we need. We need our bench to be credible because our starting unit is arguably one of the best starting units in the league, maybe the best. The Warriors are pretty nasty, but if the bench can be half of what they were last season, half as effective, we're gonna have games like this where the starters only need to play less than Kawhi Leonard, I believe, led the team in minutes with 27, and yeah, we can handle solid teams like the Brooklyn Nets. And Norman Powell, 13 points. He's been very good since coming back from injury. Had some up and down games the past few, but played very well last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of games like this. Okay, I'm not a fan when you distribute the minutes evenly, and it was a long time in the works, right? The coach being comfortable to allow the bench to just get some run, but he's kind of said himself throughout the entire season he doesn't believe that there's a first unit and a second unit, but that's how he played them tonight, right? The entire fourth quarter, Kawhi was resting, Kyle was resting. He just played the bench guy. I'm doing the air quotations here. He just played the bench guys, and it's good to see them get some run, especially Greg Monroe, who I've been not hating on, but I've been very critical of recently. He even played pretty well. DeLon Wright, who's been struggling, he's in the double digits tonight. But the reason that I say I'm not a big fan of these evenly distributed games is because, one, it really does create this sense of, okay, I'm the second unit and I'm the first unit. And two, I don't like seeing resting the number one players. And it's not because I think that they should be out there when the team is up plus 20 points. But I was looking at the attitude of Kawhi Leonard on the bench, and it almost seems like he was... I'm not a facial recognition psychologist or anything like that, but it seemed like he wanted to get out there and play, right? And he's been very vocal this season. When somebody does something wrong, he is criticizing them out on the court, right? He gets upset, he gets angry. It's a different kind of he's a more expressionate version of himself that we've never seen while he was on the San Antonio Spurs. So if the man wants to get out there, I think you got to give him play, especially because they let the bench lineup that was out there let the Brooklyn Nets go on a 15-0 run. And I'm sure he was sitting there on the bench. Yeah. Sorry, in the fourth. Yeah, he was sitting there on the bench thinking, "Put me out there." But I would just tread on the side of caution. If we're trying to get this guy to stay, allow him to play. He had a really efficient night, 20 points in only 3 quarters. Maybe he wanted to go for 30. I don't know how important stats are to him, but of course, don't put him out there when he's going to get injured. But I think that there's a bit of a balance that you have to do, because I don't think that it's fun as a star player who can basically score at will to sit out there and watch the lineup that's out there lose 15 points straight.
Okay, that's a fair argument, obviously. But I think the fact that the Toronto Raptors have leaned so heavily on their starters this season, they've literally forced Kawhi and Lowry before he was hurt. He hasn't really played super well since he's got back, stats-wise. And Siakam, we've kind of leaned on our top 3 players to win us games, and Serge Ibaka as well. So, and the fact that the bench has played so poorly, the fact that they were capable of not completely losing this game. I know in the fourth quarter they struggled, and we had some of our deeper bench guys in there as well. Chris Boucher had, he's a minus 18 for this game, but the fact that they could handle this team and we weren't reliant on the main top 3 guys, I think that's nice to see every now and then. If we were, I see where you're coming from. If it was similar to last season where we let the bench close out games, when the games mattered.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that we were up by, massive numbers, massive margins, and the bench could hold it down, and we didn't really need them at the end of the game, and we weren't relying on the bench to close out. I'm sure Kawhi and all of them aren't going to be worried about that.
No, fair enough. Now, I do want to talk about Kyle Lowry for a minute, and this is a player I do agree with resting as much as possible until he gets his legs back. You said yourself, he's looking like Steve Nash out there. He's not able to sit down. He's kind of lying down courtside. But he mentioned it in a post-game interview. I don't remember. I think it was last game, actually. They were asking him, you're still trying to kind of seem to be a little bit passive, but you're still having efficient games. Tell us about that. And he said, well, yeah, I'm not really looking for my shot right now. I just want to facilitate. I'm getting everybody involved, and then I'll start looking for my shot. That was the case tonight. Only 4 points, but only took 3 shots. Only made 1 field goal, but 8 assists. So I think he is comfortable with being the playmaker, right? And not being the take 10 threes and, hit a couple, be sort of up and down. I don't mind this from Kyle Lowry, right? Especially if he's if he's willing to sacrifice a couple shots and get guys going like Pascal or Serge. I think this is a good version of Lowry. Yeah.
Well, especially where he's unhealthy, right? Because obviously the best Lowry is where he's looking for a shot and he's facilitating, because he's very capable at doing both. He's an all-star player. He's absolute beast. But the fact that he is unhealthy. You see him, he looks a bit stiff out there. He's lying down on the bench. He can't sit up straight. So the fact that he's out there, Kyle Lowry that's not looking for a shot is better than the next guy. If he's just facilitating, he's better than most point guards in the league. He's more effective at helping a team than most point guards in the league. So we'll take that, his 8 assists on a night-to-night basis. He didn't shoot a shot inside the 3-point line. So that's very telling. Kyle Lowry, we kind of flamed on him earlier in the season when he'd settle for threes and not go inside, but now he's hurt. So we don't mind him kind of reverting to the more passive play style offensively if he's still recovering from this back injury. Obviously, chronic back injuries, they're very weird. They're not like an acute injury where like Jonas Valanciunas has a thumb injury and he's waiting for that to heal and get back into place, and he's in a splint. We have a directed timeline with Jonas's injury, but with something that's chronic, Kyle Lowry can play with this, but it's still going to hurt him. It's still going to affect him. It's not something that you rest and it's just going to get better. Chronic injuries, I'm not obviously a doctor or anything like that, but chronic injuries are not good. So
that's the definition of chronic. Yeah, it's always there. And another thing that I do want to say, 8 assists on 0 turnovers. So that's as efficient as you can possibly be. But let's swing it into the segments, I guess. Unless there's more that you want to talk. Well, we can talk about it after. Let's swing it into the segments.
For sure. Tonight, the Kawhi you do him like that play of the day. OG Anunoby, he's been out here playing pretty good the past couple games. Came down on the baseline, gave the ball to Greg Monroe. Greg Monroe, he hasn't really shown it with the Toronto Raptors, but he's a very good passer for a big man. Threw this little dump off bounce pass to OG, came down for his signature behind the net. A little slammed down. OG Anunoby got the ups. I love seeing OG dunks.
Yeah, reverse dunk. And funny enough,
Yeah.
okay, honest, honest here, Ben and I, we didn't discuss this. If you didn't have a Kawhi Doom like that was mine as well, because that was a good finish, but I was really impressed with that play just from Greg Monroe, even identifying the pass. That was like really, really good. But there was a lot of good ball movement throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, but not all plays can be the Kawhi Doom like that play of the day, and some just make you say, oh, geez. Yeah, we already mentioned it, Riker. The Kyle Lowry, seeing him on the bench, you can see his struggle with his back injury out there right now, and the fact that he's playing on it, it's impressive. He's out there. We all know Kyle Lowry. He's got a high pain tolerance, and he can't sit up on the bench. You said I mentioned earlier, he's looking like Steve Nash, similar to when he got later in his career. And we're not just talking about the assists. He's lying down on the bench, and it's kind of unfortunate. It hurts me. It makes me say, "Oh, geez," every time I see him on, because I love Kyle Lowry.
Absolutely. And it's not even one of those things you can say hope for a speedy recovery. It's just he's got to figure it out. He's got to put that LeBron James money into his body, and in the off season dump $1 million or $2 million, whatever the stat is that LeBron pays for each off season. So we'll just see. We'll keep monitoring him, and hopefully the condition doesn't get too bad, because obviously we need him.
Yeah.
But this is, in the last video that we released, this is maybe another potential reason why the rumors are circulating that they're shopping another playmaker because of the uncertainty with Kyle Lowry. So we'll see. But the favorite, the last segment, the one, the only, the infamous, the DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award for worst performance of the night, unsurprisingly going to CJ Miles. I made the claim, CJ, your career is over. You're done, right? This signing that we just recently had, Patrick McCaw. There was only a little bit of backlash in the comments. They're saying you're being a little bit dramatic here. You're kind of jumping to conclusions. Well, 7 minutes, 19 seconds. 0 points, 0 for 2 from 3, 0 for 3 from the field. You're done, buddy. You're
3 rebounds, Riker.
Your foot is out the door, CJ Miles. You're enjoying your last season of professional basketball in the National Basketball Association.
He signed for next season. And
you know what? He's gonna get cut or dropped or traded, or probably a Carmelo Anthony situation. They'll keep him, but he's not playing. It's over. CJ Miles, you're done.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see the fall of CJ Miles. I'm still rooting for him to come back, because he seems like a really nice guy. He's always good in the interviews and all that. But, the DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award against the Brooklyn Nets. DeMarre Carroll was out there. Not sure if anyone noticed. He hit a couple threes. But, CJ Miles giving off those DeMarre Carroll-esque vibes. But Carroll's been decent for the Nets. He didn't have a great game tonight. But, the Raptors came out here, got the big win against the Brooklyn Nets. We want to keep winning these games. We got the easiest schedule going in, for the rest of the season. So hopefully we have the easy schedule in the league for the rest of the season, as of right now. Yeah, so we got to get these wins, take advantage, and hopefully create some separation. The Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Washington Wizards yesterday. We play the Wizards tomorrow. So
76ers lost to the Hawks by 2 points. So I guess it ended up being the same game that the Raptors managed to win, and they came out on the other side.
We got those closers now, Riker. We got those closers and Leonard, but we didn't need our closers tonight. Obviously, we let the bench finish it out. But, yeah, let us know. You guys are the best for making it this far. Let us know what you think about this game, this team, how you're feeling about this season. Check out the Twitter, the Instagram, all that cool stuff. You want to be on the comment of the day, send us messages anywhere. Instagram, Twitter, the comment section here. Just we're looking out for it, so make sure to get that interaction. Any last words, Riker?
The Brooklyn. Why is Kawhi Leonard a mushroom? You gotta say why.
Why?
Because he's a fun guy.
On that note, we're signing off.